What is going on, gamers? In this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about science and just kind of overall exploration and just kind of how things have progressed over time. I kind of want to make this kind of a different style of video than what I usually make. At time, a lot of people have made different theories about really what is Earth's purpose, why are we here, and how does the world interact with the other planets around it and the sun as well. It used to be believed back in the good old days that the Earth was actually the center of the universe. I mean, I'm a pretty egotistical person myself, but even I don't fully put myself in the center of the universe. And people believed this for a very long time. That was kind of just the way it worked. So pretty much you were deemed to be crazy if you didn't believe with the church's scientists of the era. Until one guy came along by the name of Copernicus, I think that's how you pronounce it, and he said, you know what guys, maybe, just maybe, that the Earth actually rotates around the sun. And then people were like, bruh, stupid, hashtag bruh. And then they all said, oh, maybe we're the stupid ones. And I don't know, I kind of thought this is kind of an interesting concept to talk about for a video. In our modern time, we kind of see a lot of people who really overly agree with science. I'm not saying it's all wrong. A lot of it is correct, but people always just change their opinions based off of it. And it kind of reminds me of the same sentiment that happened back then. And we haven't even discovered all of Pluto's moons until this decade of 2010s. Or at least I guess that was last decade, but you know what I mean. We didn't discover all of Pluto's moons until last decade. That's crazy. Pluto's been discovered since the early 1900s, and we just now discovered all of its moons last decade. That's crazy to think about. And there's already people out there who believe full-heartedly that there are Earth-like planets that are barely rendered on an image from the Hubble Space Telescope. A lot of people think that all these planets are exactly like Earth, or very highly like Earth, but they could also be kind of like Uranus, which is a gas planet with a kind of a bluish green tint to it. So we have a lot of different things that these planets could be, and a lot of people just automatically make the assumption that they are Earth-like. Our best images in space are actually really fucking terrible. You look at them and they look like something that you get off of a Game Boy Color cartridge. And it's very cool that we get these images, but completely basing like what you think the planet looks like from these really low res images and then believing it full-heartedly, it just seems so weird. When we actually took those pictures in 2017 of Pluto, a lot of people expected Pluto to kind of be this brownish colored planet, kind of this boring, bland planet, kind of like Mercury. And that was in a lot of the textbooks before we actually got these high resolution images from I think it was the Voyager. But until we got these high res images, a lot of people just accepted the fact that Pluto probably looked like a brown dirt planet that was boring and void of anything of interest. But what we actually saw was Pluto had this heart. It was very vibrant in color. It looked like it had icy methane mountains. For goodness sakes, there's so much interesting things about this planet, and people just overlooked it for so long. And it's kind of interesting to see how the perceptions of it change so quickly. It's really weird, though. A lot of people will full-heartedly believe anything. Die-heartedly, even though we haven't even seen many of these planets up close. Uranus, the best picture we have of it was taken in the 70s, and it looks completely terrible. We barely get to see anything from it. I think the Hubble has a higher resolution image of Uranus than the picture we took in 1970 with the satellite that went past it. And that's pretty crazy to think about, to be honest. Weird how people will always say things based off of their thoughts, but then when something actually contradicts it, they'll actually change their thoughts completely. And then they'll try to pretend that they were always for the popular opinion to begin with. And a lot of this is wired within the human psychology. Humans are pretty much engineered to follow the herd in a sense. A lot of people fail to break that. I think the only people who actually break that are people who are very alone, lonely, or who have social anxiety, who don't really thrive too much off of the herd mentality. I feel like I've stuttered a little bit for this video, and I'm kind of sorry for rambling. I'm just trying to make it kind of interesting, I guess. What I'm trying to say is when it comes to space exploration, as well as just the scientific discovery in general, the human race should really be a little bit more open to ideas that maybe some things that we're thinking right now won't be the reality 100 years down the road when we actually explore more about these planets. I feel like we're in a very interesting step in humanity where we're a very modern species, granted, with the internet, electricity, and all these different conveniences we have. But we're so dumb at the same time, myself included. The human race is very stupid when we really think about it. I mean, a calculator can do more than pretty much anybody on a given day. I can go on Google and literally search up anything with the click of my keyboard. That's something that only 30 years ago was not possible. This is all in the span of a very short time, and it's very cool to see how, with the introduction of the internet, everybody appears to be a genius. But the truth remains that humanity is still very flawed and not intelligent compared to the machines we created. Humanity advances and eventually learns more about our solar system and eventually lands people on Mars, and we get to actually, interact more with the surface of Mars and actually learn more about it. I feel that things are going to open up a little bit, hopefully, where people won't really be so close-minded about things. Maybe they'll be a little bit more open to the possibility that maybe some of these planets within our own solar system could support life. I'm not talking intelligent life, but maybe some form of life, whether that be under the crust in some sort of ocean or just in frozen ice, etc. Maybe we'll find fossils at some point on these planets. You never really know. But I feel like if we're so close-minded, we're never going to advance as a species. I think it was only 10 years ago, Mars was thought not to have any ice on it at all. And that was proven incorrect not super long ago in the grand scheme of things. And everybody always said Mars does not have water or ice on it, and they were all proven wrong. So I think it's very, very weird to have such a close-minded mindset when it comes to space. Is all I'm trying to say. I know this video seems kind of ranty, and I'm sorry about that, but that's just my opinion on it. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video, and let's keep expanding into space. Peace.